My name is Brian. I'm a recovering sex addict. The evening of August 5th, 2022, I lit a fuse that I wasn't able to extinguish. From the earliest days of the internet, I'd been playing with fire, and for the longest time, I thought I was in control. But on that Friday night, I lit a fuse. The bomb exploded, and shrapnel left its mark on not just me. I'd become powerless to a drug that I never recognized as a drug. I wrote a note for my wife, Jen, who was sleeping, and left it on the bathroom vanity. I stepped outside, ridden with fear and anxiety. I looked back at my house. The moon and the street light made it look picture perfect by every measure of man. I took a picture of it before driving away. I'd traded it all away for a hit for my drug of choice that night. I drove towards somewhere where I knew I could intentionally swerve off the road at 2 a.m. and take my own life. Fear, shame, regret, guilt, and anxiety controlled me. I was convinced that this was the only way to end the pain I was in and was surely about to experience. I wasn't wanting to die, but I didn't want to feel the pain anymore. That's when I heard what I've now come to know as the voice of God. He was speaking to my heart and telling me to find a sermon that I had liked a few months back. I couldn't find it while driving down the highway at 1 a.m. sobbing, but I found one that God wanted me to hear. It was titled The God of the Impossible by Louis Giglio. For the next 45 minutes, I listened as best as I could while my mind was in chaos. All I remember hearing from that sermon was Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in a future. It wasn't the answer I wanted, that everything would be okay, that I would escape punishment and pain. It was a small amount of hope when I was feeling hopeless. The second time that night, I felt God's gentle whisper. He said in a calming voice, saying, "She can't find out with a note." By God's grace, I didn't take my life and decided to drive back home. I tried to sleep on the couch, but tossed and turned all night until I heard Jen walking around upstairs. I made coffee, and when she came downstairs, I did the second most selfish thing I had done in the past 10 hours. I gave her a hug. I didn't deserve that hug, and I thought that in a few moments, she would never want to be close to me again. I gave her a coffee and asked her if she wanted to sit with me on the deck. When we got outside, I looked at her and said, "I have a confession. What I'm about to say will ruin your day, your week, your month, and likely your year. I'm sorry." And I proceeded to tell her the secret extent of who I had become and what I had done the night before. From a hotel room a few days later, I learned that pornography is addictive and progressive. I was an addict. There we go. Is that good? Yeah. I learned that pornography is addictive and progressive. I was an addict. By the end of the week, I had found a rehab facility in BC that helps people heal from sex addictions. I left my family. I left work. I left everyone I knew. I left mostly without saying anything to anyone. What could I say? Shame had consumed me. I planned to go to rehab for 30 days, but 30 turned into 60, and 60 into 90. As I learned that the amount of time in treatment mattered, I kept telling myself that if I had any chance to save my marriage and family, I had one. While I thought I was going to rehab to fix myself and learn why I do what I do, if I'm completely honest, it was also to escape the shrapnel and aftermath I had caused at home. As I'm sure many have experienced before, although we have our plans, God always has his own plans for us too. But his plans for my time at rehab was for me to encounter him, to meet Jesus, and to experience the Holy Spirit. I met these incredible people who poured life into me and saw through my sin and brokenness. They loved me, counseled me, discipled me, and showed me what it meant to follow Jesus on the narrow path. After returning home, I moved in with an incredible couple to allow Jen and the kids some space needed to test their feelings towards me. A few weeks later, my wife invited me home. My fall hurt. My fall had consequences. But my fall had purpose. My fall was God's way of repositioning me. I'm thankful Jesus took the punishment and placed me at his mercy seat. I hate who I became. I despise what I did. But I surrender my will at the cross and kind of like the new creation he's molding me into. I'm not perfect, far from it. My recovery hasn't been perfect. I've stalled a couple times, but I'm learning that if God's grace was good enough to cover me when I was at my worst, it's good enough to cover me when I'm trying. Rebuilding my life at 40 wasn't in my original life plan. But as I mentioned earlier, God has his plans for it, and he has done so many miracles since. I have a close relationship with my kids that I missed out on due to my anger, selfishness, and isolation. Jen and I are rebuilding a marriage with an emotional intimacy we've never had. We've made new friends who speak life into us, and we've learned so much. Just the other night, Jen and I were reflecting again on the miracle of what Jesus has done and continues to do in our lives in marriage. Without him involved in our life, we wouldn't be where we are, and none of this makes sense. I heard a quote early in recovery from a spouse, and it said, I'd go through the first 20 again to have the last 10. It's the story of redemption, and God is redeeming the past. I want to end with a verse, but it's really a promise. And I really think because it's the second time this verse has come up tonight that we should probably listen. And it's from Ezekiel 36:26, and it says, I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will remove from you your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh. He works if you let him. You're worth it. So let him. Thank you.